to this fortnightly's episode of the Thursday Open Teaching Group. I'm going to hand over to Nat in a moment. We're both really excited about this class. This is a teaching that we've chosen specifically to share fourth week in. We ventured a bit of terrain through the transpersonal and spiritual realms of human flourishing a few weeks ago. Then last week we dove into the cultural detoxing and awareness quadrant of development. And Nat was really keen to share more so, Nat's going to explain it better, but more so the scientific four quadrants of human flourishing that you'll then realize the territory that we navigate at GOI and where these classes are being born from and probably why you're gravitated to enjoying them so much. Would that be cool? Awesome. Fantastic. Also going to be a little bit different. If it's okay, class will be around 35 to 45 minutes if we can get there. And then we've never done this before, but at the end, we're going to share something with you that's happening on Monday, the 29th. Would that be okay with everyone? If you're not interested in that, you can jump off the call. Awesome.
TC, not interested. Savage.
Fantastic. Yeah, Terry, thanks for letting us know. Awesome. I can see all your comments. Thank you so much.
Oh.
Let's just get straight into it. The four quadrants of the human endeavor. What's going on for you? Even when you share that, tell us, where are we going today?
Where are we going? Let me just settle in and check it. Hey peeps, Reese, good to see you. Georgie, hello. Lisa, Tanya, Maggie, Jules, AP, amazing. Okay, great. Well, what Tommy and I are doing here at GOI is really, it's simple, but it's complex at the same time. It's kind of giving people, we love the personal development space. That's kind of where we've all come from. And it's been of great service. But my everyday, Tommy and I, what we do every day is I wake up every day and I probably spend between 4 and 6 hours, sometimes up to 8, in very, very intricate conversations every day from Monday to Friday, 4 to 6 hours for the last 10 years. And in the last 12 months, it has been mania, absolute mania, what's happened in the interior because things are getting faster. The interior, the world of the interior is actually getting faster. And it's just something we have to accept, right? So like if you look at an hour on the clock will tick every second around in every minute, it will go around the hour. But in fact, that hour is actually moving faster. And what that means is a couple of things. Is your interior is going to get more complex, and everyone on this call will be experiencing a more complex interior. Let's just stick with complexity is a really, really hard thing to define. Like there are conventions, guys, where people go to, the best minds in the world converge and try to define complexity. But I think the best one is this. I think the best one I've heard, which is the most practical for people, because my job is trying to take this kind of big, wild stuff and make it really applicable to hungry minds and hearts and souls that want something real, is density of connection. Density of connection is the best way to define complexity. So inside you have a faster moving environment with more denser connections going on. Like who's been making pretty wild pattern recognition lately? Yeah, like who's been making links from past events and sometimes even future events? Who's becoming even like semi-telepathic? Right? Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. So I'm seeing a lot of nods here. This internal phenomena of density of connection means that a lot of different world spaces are clashing inside of you and clashing inside of everyone. So I'll use my favorite Facebook post that I saw the other day, which blew my mind, and in a not so good way. But I'll say it again. This Facebook post was it was a multi-level marketing chick. She was selling multi-level marketing, but it sounded something like this. In one post, there was relationship to Jesus. So there was a Christianity part of the post. There was a marketing part of the post. there was a pitch, so there was a cell, there was a masculine and feminine, some kind of polarity situation happening, and then there was a direct message inbox type of strategy, and there was social media all in one. But so guys, that is 6 or 7 different world spaces in one Facebook post. Okay, so that to me, if I was to sit down with this chick, she would be in quite wild confusion. That to me is a post of confusion. And even reading it, I was like trying to like hang with it all. It was, you need faith in Jesus to make money, and here's the product, but you need masculine and feminine polarity, and you need a DM strategy. And this is, guys, this is what's happening. This post was a great example of what's happening on the interior of people's lives, and it is not easy. So we are in a complex and confusing time, and so what I plan to do today is try to give you something something on the interior in which you can start to navigate and put these pieces together. Is that cool? Great. Now, once you see something like this, what I'm going to show you is kind of psychoactive. So even seeing it itself tends to change things, tends to give you some insights.
So Nat,
yes,
on that, mate, from understanding, once we lay this out for everyone, from being able to see and understand that territory that they can discover into more, is that in itself going to help them remove blind spots and transcend, if partial, if not all, suffering, or is there some action steps they walk away with?
We just want to have a look at what happens to you guys when we show you this, because we're just gonna look and play and poke around today, really, because there are, what's the best way to put it? Notice how there's also an intensity in the environment, like there's more hostility. Is everyone noticing more hostility? Everyone's a bit spicy, eh? Everyone's a bit on edge. Yeah, it's because we're all kind of being exposed to increased speed, increased density of connection. So when you've got people that are, when you've got people that get emotional, when they get emotional in times like now, they tend to get more confident in their views. And that's a problem. Because the higher you are in maturity, the higher you are in emotional development. When you get emotional, you should get less confident in your world perspective in that moment. So if you get emotional and you get more confident, it means you have lower emotional maturity. If you get emotional and a bit spicy and a bit wound up, and you have the presence to be less confident in your perspective, that's a marker of emotional maturity. So a big thing I want to get out of today is showing you that, hey, look, if you get spicy, if you get a bit agitated, if you get a bit triggered or whatever, this will give you a chance to be less confident in your worldview. I know it's kind of an antithetical message to the personal development market, but yeah, this is a group of very less confidence, the better. Less certainty, the better. Okay. So, I actually have some, I got one slide, but there's a lot on it. So we're just going to go slow. Is that cool? TC, can I share a slide?
Sure thing. Let's do it.
Just chuck us there, host, please, my friend.
This is big, adding in slides, co-host
I know.
information. Ooh, I need to be on my game for these buttons that have to get pushed.
Okay, so let's start. We're going to build this thing piece by piece. We're going to go slow. We have a couple of features here. First of all, we have just simple features, external on the right, internal on the left. We're pretty cool with that. We're all pretty switched on. External outside, internal inside. And then we break up our matrix into 4 simple sections here. I, the individual, we've got 6 features we've got to consider here. No, 4 features, sorry. External, internal, I, and the we space, or the collective. Sweet. Okay, team, here we go. Tommy, I'm going to need your guidance here. Do I need to share the transcend and include feature, the nested hierarchies, or not? I think it'll happen naturally.
I think it'll happen naturally, although I would like you to go into it, or we'll go into it somewhere
Okay.
during the call, because the transcend and include uh, theology or methodology um, really does separate peak performance coaches, mental development
Right.
coaches.
Cool. Yeah, you're
It's
right. You're
very
right.
important to understand.
So there is a repeating pattern through our entire reality, and we're going to use the top right first of all. We'll use the top right as our first example. And guys, go slow because there's a lot of integration here and there's a lot of complexity, again defined by density of connection. Let's start in the top right. So the external of I is biological, just biological matter. It's just the biological matter. This is also the quadrant of science. So external of I.
Yeah, you can just unmute yourself, Nat. That was me. We just had a member jump in there. Audio was on.
So we're going to go a basic overview of these four quadrants. And give
Sorry,
you
Nat. Disregard. Might be your audio.
what's that?
Just your cord. Something's really rustly.
Is
Unless
that
it's
is that is
me.
that
All
better?
right. Kim, you're hearing it, aren't you? Yeah, you can see Kim's face. Like, what the? Yeah, that's better. Thanks, mate.
Oh, it's the old rustly jumper. Um,
Because it's somehow made it from the 70s, as someone commented in, and it's trying to keep up.
oh no, we've got all two time frames. They're all smashing together, guys. Okay, external vibe. But this is our top right is our scientific quadrant. If we jump over, and this is we'll get there. It's called the third person space. There's three features to it. If we jump over to the left, we have. Why is my computer not working? Oh, guys. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, our spiritual or felt experience. If we go the internal of I, stay with me. If we go internal of I, you right here sitting here, right now you're having some kind of felt experience. Even if it's numbness, you're having a felt experience. So first of all, these first two create blind spots in each other straight away. So if you are biased towards the scientific way of life, you are biased towards biological material, philosophical materialism, you naturally tend to have a blind spot in the spiritual or felt experience. If you are biased to the spiritual or felt experience, the life of the energetics, the life of the subtle and the super subtle, then you tend to have a blind spot in the biological. They just reference each other. We're going to click down. Oh my God, my cat is, sorry. Yeah, we're going to go down into the internal of we. So we're going to get out of individual. Now I want you to slowly shift your mind into we, all of us. The internal of we is the cultural or worldview, otherwise known as mental. So guys, your thinking space is not an I space. It's a we space. Your most surfaced thinking, your everyday thinking, is actually a thought of we. It's not an I. Were you okay with that?
Yeah, can we get a check in? Everyone jump to the chat panel. What comes up for you when you hear that?
The cat staying, guys. Sorry, it's just.
And there's some comments coming through now. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that? The
Sure, I'll
difference
give it to you
between
like
I
this.
thinking and we
Yeah.
thinking
We tend
spaces?
to think, our everyday habitual thinking, we tend to think in schemas or beliefs. Okay, so I'll try and give you the most basic example. Everyone here can speak the English language. You can all speak the English language. But could you teach someone else how to speak it with grammar and punctuation and prefixes and conjugation and all that? Could you actually teach the structure of language? Right? But you all know it. You all know the structure of language implicitly, right? Okay. So behind your thinking, there are structures which govern it all. And they're worldviews. We have levels of worldviews that actually govern your entire perception on life. So this space down here is typically our thinking space, but it's actually perception. How you perceive the world is a thinking external view. And your thinking and your external view follows a set of value structures. Like the code behind our language has structure, there's a code behind your thinking that has structure. And behind your thinking, there is really reliable structures, which we're going to go through. How are we doing with that? Because even that's, I mean, that's a lot already. We doing okay with that? Great.
Yeah, getting a lot of comments.
Okay, great.
Getting it.
Nice. Then we're going to jump into the bottom one. We have the external of we. Just have a guess. Like that's, we don't have to be super clever here. External of we. What's the externality of the collective? Well, then it's society, civilizations. It's just it's basically just the infrastructure. Towns, cities, countries, environment, nature, the external of we. Okay, so these are our 4 world spaces which we all live in and which we all tend to have biases in of what we think is more real or less real. So here's the example that I use all the time when I'm trying to teach this, because it gets pretty full on. If someone has depression, like let's just have a classic case of depression, low mood, low to no motivation, apathy, unwilling, and hopeless is kind of a classic case of depression. If this person went to a doctor, what quadrant is the doctor biased in?
Jump to the chat panel team, because as we go into the structure behind each quadrant, there's going to be some questions coming through. External eye, biological matter, biological. Yep.
That's right. Now, and then through this lens, there's nothing wrong with this lens at all. How would the doctor prescribe, look at, talk to, think about? Give me some of the language that they would use.
Chemical imbalance, chemistry, neurotransmitters,
There
symptoms.
we go, guys. Yep, sexy as. Right, we're right there on it. Great. That's it. Let's jump over to the left. Let's say this person goes to a healer. Let's say an energetic healer or a Chinese medicine. Again, just as relevant as our biological matter, just as real, just as important. What would this person be sharing, this energy healer, energy medicine? How would they be talking about depression, interpreting depression, working with this client? What would they say and do?
Yeah, I've got the door open. And my bedroom fits me.
Prayer, spiritual, feel it to heal it.
Yep.
Alignment, feelings, energy blocks.
Energy blocks, that's it. Prayer, that's it, guys, for sure. Reiki, this is all in the subtle body stuff. So Reiki, prayer, meditation, being your own healer, etc. This is the Joe Dispenza place. But he's kind of got an integration between the top 2. Even though I'm not a huge fan of him, but that quadrant is, do we all know? Let's have some fun. Do we all know someone stuck in the top left? Everything's just energy. It's all just energy. Is it? Is it all just energy? Guys, it's not all just energy, because energy needs form. Energy needs form, and form needs energy. It's like colors need shapes. Show me a color without a shape. It's not all just energy. It's form. There's form. And form is much more structural than just energy, because energy needs something to organize it. It's not all just energy. That's a blind spot. Okay, let's take our little depressed person. We're going to take them down to the bottom left. Can be a tough one. Who is in this bottom left, and how would they be thinking about depression and or treating depression? Think about it. Cultural, worldview, perspective, belief.
Jump to the chat panel team. Isolate self.
Isolate.
Do as you're told.
So a moral thing in here could be, yeah.
Think of moving countries, maybe victimhood.
So moving countries is the bottom right, which is a good answer. But bottom left, guys, is your classic psychology. This is where your classic psychology hangs out. How do you see the world? How do you see yourself? What do you believe? What are your negative beliefs about yourself? Can we use schema therapy? Can we create a new internal space for you? Can we use talk therapy? Can we build some positive mental habits? Things like that. So depression in the bottom left is classic psychology. Classic psychology.
Plus new age peak performance coaching.
Plus the personal development industry is basically the personal development industry is basically stuck all on the left, but biased to the bottom left. So yes, that's this person would be going to a psychologist or even a holistic psychologist, and they would be looking at belief systems and what's your negative belief systems, where'd they come from, can we change them, what's a better belief system, right? So good stuff, but only 25% of the interior space. It's only 25%. So this is why psychology right now, I don't really know, to be honest, what psychologists do with their clients. I don't understand it. To me, it's not psychology, it's something else. It's more like mechanics. It's more like mechanical repairs. I think what I do is more psychology, to be honest. But it's an interesting because it's biased in the bottom left, right? They're taking beliefs, trying to change them, using techniques, which is you have this belief, let's get a better one, which is more like moving the furniture around. This is why someone can go to psychology over and over and over, but their felt experience is exactly the same. They go, well, I haven't changed, because their felt experience is exactly the same. Okay, same thing. We've got our depressed person. Let's move them to the right. Who would be at bottom right? Who would be advising in here, and what would they be telling?
Run jump to the chat panel. Anyone you can think of that's doing this, or what would they be saying? And how would they be approaching it? Friends, co-workers, holistic, friends and relatives, media, politicians, stigma.
Not bad. Not bad. This is all the people in here. That's pretty good answers, guys. We've got things like sociologists, behaviorists, demographers, people that they have a bias towards the impact of the environment, which is let's get some new people around you. Let's try different climates. Let's go to a different country. Let's change your house environment around. And again, very impactful, but 25%. So I got a good story for you on this bottom quadrant. I had a client and he was doing my head in because I get really psychopathic on getting the result. Like I'm crazy. I have to get the result with someone. And I poured my heart and soul into this guy. And he was pouring his heart and soul into the process. And we weren't getting anywhere. Like we were getting places and things were happening, but I'm looking for when people work with me, I'm looking for fundamental change, like fundamental juice. And we just weren't getting it at the level in which I'm satisfied, because it's all about me. Don't you know that? And so I'm getting crazy. I'm like, how do we get this guy unstuck? And I poured my best stuff into him, and he was doing his best, and we weren't getting anywhere. And I come down to this conclusion. I was like, we have not properly explored the bottom right. And I said, Benny, look, I know you've got an inclination for cold climates. I know you love traveling to Melbourne and you love traveling to New Zealand. It's like, please just move to New Zealand for 6 months. Please, I know it's crazy, but just please make it happen. Because his psychological world was intense. And it was very rough on him. Like he had a very, very rough time. He was a genius in business. Genius, but had a very, very rough time. Anyway, I kind of had to push him off the edge. He had to break up with his girlfriend. So like we were taking drastic measures. The relationship had to go anyway. So it was all kind of lining up. I basically kicked him off the edge. He moved to New Zealand. He didn't experience any depression or anything for 6 months. Nothing. He was fixed. That was done. Done. Cold climate, cold climate sorted him out. So this is the interior world space you're navigating, and I'm going to add one more layer. It's not on there. This is a tricky one. Imagine a depth dimension to this. Imagine you could see through the screen and there was layers behind it. We all cool with that? Okay. You're experiencing all four of these inside of you all the time. As well as behind that, imagine slicing it up into depth pieces. There's also a depth of the spiritual ground behind it. So the way you look into yourself can get deeper and deeper and deeper. And so there are actually states of mind, different states of being. For example, we talk a lot about the essential self. You can look at these four quadrants through the perception of ego, and you can also look at this through the eyes of the essential self, and they'll look different. So there's also a depth layer behind this. To make that simple, we can say life, mind, soul, spirit sits behind it. Life, mind, soul, spirit sits all behind it. Now, guys, this is all happening inside you all the time. Now, if you go back to my Facebook post at the start, there was kind of something touching in all quadrants. It was just very messy. So let's pause. What are we seeing? What are we feeling? Do you have a bias in one quadrant? Because you always do. There's always one you deny.
Yeah. I was going to say the question isn't, do you have a bias? Sorry, he mistaken
Where is
there.
the bias?
Where is the bias? Let's be honest, team.
If I could live my whole life in the top left, guys, I could just chill out there all day, every day. I could just hang, all good. But even if you do, you will experience greater spiritual realities and greater sense of self, but it'll be thin. It'll be missing something. It'll be missing maturity. Your realization will miss its maturity. So yeah, that's my bias of where I'd like to hang out.
I had a bias for 5 years at the bottom left. Everything is perception, and everything in me can be changed for me to get what I want.
I'll create my reality
differently. And if it's not thinking differently, it's moving the thoughts out of the way, which is still thinking differently.
Bottom left dominant. Yeah, the personal development space is bottom left dominant.
All right, some comments coming through. Great question. Georgie's asking, could communication that covers all four quadrants actually be really effective?
Yes, it is the most effective.
Just
who said that? Who said that?
Georgie Lees. Read some of our. Look at the way you go back and read the emails that we write for these classes.
Yeah.
Tanya sharing, I'm not certain, but I believe I'm hanging in the cultural and I don't want to be there. Beautiful. Great acknowledgement. Kim's been hanging out a lot in the internal space recently.
So I'll give you another, just as you guys are going, I'll give you a really simple practice. Like, this is how easy this can be to start understanding. Top right is moving your body, good nutrition, supplementation, right? Really good. Movement, supplementation, good nutrition. Top left, all of your spiritual practices that sink you into the I space, whether it's prayer, meditation, inquiry, Tai Chi, Qigong, breath work, etc. Cold baths kind of fit in there, all that jazz. All good stuff. Bottom left, you have moral development, doing difficult things, like doing courageous, difficult moral things. It is in the bottom left. The courage piece is in the bottom left. Pushing yourself into the unknown will develop your bottom left. And then bottom right is nature. Nature, different spaces, different people, different walks of life, you know. The integral practice of this yoga, I just call it a yoga, but the integral practice of this is all of them are great and all of them are effective.
Now, just a quick question, so I know what I can ask the members. Are we going to get into the subtle structure of each quadrant or not today?
We are. I'm going to send it, full send today.
Okay, cool.
What's the time?
Yeah, great. 25 minutes until 9, probably 15 minutes to send it.
Great. Oh, guys, strap in.
Strap in. And what, like, this is really important. What I mean by that is this is one of the most complex teachings to be ever had in 45 minutes. We don't expect you to walk away with it's to lay out the territory and the terrain.
Lay the territory.
For some of you that go, oh my day, like I want to explore more of that territory within myself, either for me or for my clients or whatever it is. And there's always ways that you can explore it more, whether we send you some resources or you chat with us. So we're going to lay it out pretty hard and fast. Before you do that, Nat,
Yes, sir.
I selfishly need you to fix your fucking microphone. And
Oh,
I speak
sorry.
on behalf of everybody, and
Sorry,
everybody
sorry,
jump in the
sorry.
chat panel and say, thanks, Tom.
So what does it do? Is it scratching up against my jumper?
Yes, I
Is
know
it
it's your
better?
first
Is it better
month
if I
in
hold it like
business
that?
this month.
So is it
Fuck's
better if I
sake.
hold it out? That's good like
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Mate,
yeah.
I'm dealing with a cat who's so attached. I'm dealing with a $20 vintage jumper here. Okay, it's not
No
comfy.
allowed in this space. All right, let's go. Let's go into it. Let's go
All right.
hard. Let's go fast.
What you'll recognize now is a universal pattern of hierarchies. I know it sounds a lot, but you'll see the hierarchical nature of each quadrant, which is undeniable. So we'll take you through it. You'll see it. You're all smart, but let's go. An atom, a single atom, transcends, includes, and into a molecule, into a cell, into a tissue, into an organ, into an organ system, right? So that original atom is in the molecule, it's in the cell, it's in the tissue. What you have, right, is a increasing hierarchy of complexity. The next layer is more complex, the next layer is more complex, increasing levels of complexity. In the organ system, the whole set is included in the organ system. Cool? The whole set. The original atom is still in the organ system. And there's no value difference. The atom is just as valuable as the organ system, just as valuable. There's no hierarchy of value. They all are a whole. The atom is whole, and it's a part of the next higher whole. Cool?
And if any coaches, mentors, therapists, or specialists on the call can please take note of, there is no hierarchy of value.
No hierarchy.
Just take note of that, because as we get into some other quadrants, you may become aware of some stuff either in your industry or in yourself, which is really interesting.
So when you've got a doctor trying to treat depression, they go, well, there's this chemical imbalance in this cell. It's like you are talking about one section of 25% of the interior space. That's, it's pretty dangerous when you're dishing out stuff like that. Okay, exact same pattern in the felt experience. The felt experience is not purely subjective. It has structure. Felt experience has structure, and it goes like this: perception, impulse, emotion, gross mind, subtle mind, causal mind. There might be one more, non-dual. So that is how the first person experience. And guys, let's, for example, impulse. My cat here only lives in impulse. It's just an impulsive thing. It can't go into emotion. It can't transcend into emotion. It's stuck at impulse. Orangutans actually reach into emotion. Orangutans have half an hour into the past and then into the present. Orangutans are amazing creatures, but they reach into emotion. We're the first things that have a gross mind, which is like just gross thinking mind, is actually a felt experience, all the way up into the non-dual. So our spiritual reality has structure, and it's probably the most complex that we teach on, because you can get really, really lost there. But it follows the same thing: atoms, molecules, cells, tissues, organ, perception, impulse, emotion, gross mind, subtle mind, etc. There is a huge, huge transition happening in everyone right now. Everyone's exiting the gross mind and into the subtle mind. That's why everyone's talking about intuition. Everyone's talking about slowing down. Everyone's talking about feeling. Everyone's talking about do less, feel more. La da 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 da. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's just surrender, let go. Like there's a little bit more to it than that. But the reason why that message is everywhere now, and guys, look, if you look at advertising, here's a Hodges special for you. Look at all the advertising right now. Every bit of advertising you'll see that's switched on, they will have an interior component. They'll be talking about mentality, emotion, feeling. Everything will be interiorized. Okay, because we've got a collective shift from the gross mind into the subtle mind. And the subtle mind is a felt experience. Okay, next one's a bit saucy. Follows the same. We're looking at how our value structures follow the same pattern. So we go from archaic values, very archaic tribal, right? Papua New Guinean tribes people. Think about, again, It's an increase in complexity. This is how value structures increase in complexity. Tribal, I'll take what's mine. Oh, sorry, archaic. Magic, think voodoo. Like, I'm going to stab this doll and I'm going to hurt you because you're the enemy. But I stab this doll, then I hurt you. Like, very limited complexity. Mythic, religious. I'm right, you're wrong. My values are right. I'm good, you're evil. That's mythic level of complexity, very low level of complexity. Also in mythic, you have bikie gangs, you have American politics. Like, that's why you watch American politics, you're like, oh my God, they look like their heads are full of Play-Doh. Rational is the majority of our society. Rational values. Rational values are the following: objective, rational, material, outcome focused, narcissistic. It's just part of the game. Sorry, guys, that's just how it goes. Self-focused and competitive. That's a rational mind. It's a rational set of values. It's rational for me to try and beat you and accumulate more, even though it feels weird. In the rational set of values, people that are competitive go, oh, well, that's how it goes. We move on from that and we get relativistic. This transition is important because this transition almost is destroying our business world, which is the change from rational, objective, outcome focused to sensitive, world focused, equality focused, justice focused, feeling focused, safe space focused, very soft and sensitive, very humanitarian. All of the rights movements come out of the relativistic worldview. Very challenging, very complex, very sensitive, very, very difficult people, but beautiful people, beautifully complex people, just very hard to deal with. Do we all know that kind of like a little bit too clever, a little bit spiritual, hypersensitive person who's very moral and very woke? That's the kind of green calling card, this relativistic value set. Okay, and the jump from relative to integral is a big step in the function of the human mind, which is when a mind reaches integral, it realizes it's all of those value sets, all of those beliefs all in one.
Is that, Nat, I was going to get you to elaborate on that, as we've done in a few of these classes. Is that the first time the individual will realize that it's not a hierarchy?
Yes, that's the first time that they'll experience a holism where the value in relativistic, if you're experiencing relativism, that value structure, which a lot of people are, it's really hard to take action. If you're experiencing relative in the mind, you realize that everyone's equally valued. All of my perceptions are valuable, and I can't take action like I used to because everything feels true and everything feels right and good. And so in relative, the mind is actually dissolving. And what you see culturally right now is a culture dissolving because our outcome-focused mind is fading away, and our relative mind of equal value is coming to play, which dissolves boundaries. We're in a period of deconstruction. We are in a period of deconstruction at every level because we need to reconstruct a deeper holism as a living being. And this holism of integral doesn't have greater than, less than, competitive. It doesn't have that at all. It's much more natural. The jump to integral realizes there's not a value hierarchy externally. There is a natural internal order of hierarchy and leadership. It's natural. So relativism is deconstruction. The integral mind reconstructs in holism. It gets rid of better than, less than. It gets rid of it. Because every person is equally valuable. Every person has a say. Every person has their own right to explore who they are and what they want to do. But there has to be a pretty wide-scale deconstruction before we get there. How are we doing, team? How are we doing?
Jump to the chat panel, team. How are we doing? Check in. Nat, how does someone start to, from my own experience, it's so easy to get not narrow-minded, just oblivious, to think that it's just one area that needs to be deconstructed so that you can evolve.
Yeah.
How does someone...
What was the question?
Yeah, how does someone start to navigate like, oh, shit, I've been blinded by these other quadrants that are probably necessary for me. Like for me, for
Yeah,
example, as you know,
yeah,
I
yeah,
was so blinded and even resistance to the biological matter space and looking at
yeah. Yeah,
healing,
Tommy would have a
physical.
chocky bar in the morning. Tommy there would have chocky in the morning for
Fuck
breakfast.
off. It's 2 for 1. What am I meant to do?
Please one of the servo. Mm.
Yeah, how does someone start to navigate it? Like, shit, what other areas should I potentially be looking at? Because I don't
Yeah,
think many people realize that you can't, unless I'm mistaken, you can't cling to one, let's say the spiritual felt sense,
yeah,
and
you
just
can't.
you can't believe that you're going to continue moving through that experience
Yeah,
if you're neglecting one of the other areas, because a neglection
yeah,
of one of the other areas will just keep you where you're at.
yeah. So, for example, right, like let's say you have someone with a rational mind, and the way they view the world is really rational, but they've been kind of really interested in the spiritual stuff, and they're starting to have nice experiences of freedom and less anxiety, and they're feeling good, and they're feeling more open and more receptive. Now, if you don't progress in the bottom left, right, if you just stay kind of rational minded while you explore the spiritual stuff, you got to recognize that the spiritual world, the spiritual quadrant is a felt experience. It's the energetics, and the cultural worldview is the integral container of it. So if you have a less than strong container, your spiritual experience gets stifled because the holding structure is weak. So the integral holding structure holds juicier spiritual experiences. The rational holding structure can only hold a limited spiritual experience. Because if you keep pushing your spiritual development, but you don't actually advance your mind or moral way in the world, then the spiritualism gets wobbly. Your subjective world gets wobbly, and you enter weird spaces because you're trying to push the energetics higher than what the container can hold. So there's no getting away with the game, guys. Like there's no getting away with the game. So that's and you'll get wobbly and unfulfilled. And like I've had many clients before where they're really deep in the spiritual, and they started so nice and lovely, and they're having great stuff, and then they're starting to feel dissociated and anxious and a bit aggressive even, and they push their spiritual work harder. And I go, no, 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 stop, stop, stop. So you got to stop. You got to stop. You're overflowing. You can't contain the spiritual energy you seek. So does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does. I think kind of focusing a bit primarily there on the. I know it's all integrated, but on the top two is, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great quote by forget his name, but he's pretty much David Hawkins, and he's
Yeah.
talking about and suggesting like if you want to, you actually have to do physical preparation for the body to hold a
Yeah.
certain physical
Yeah.
experience.
Exactly. Exactly
Like
right.
the vessel actually has to be nurtured and mature enough, physically speaking, to
Yeah.
contain and be able to hold long periods of time,
That's right.
experiencing
Yeah, it's called
a depth of.
tapasya. Tapasya is a basically, if you imagine your being to be a clay pot. Tapasya is breaking down the clay pot, building it back up, putting it in the kiln, breaking down the clay pot, building it back up, putting it in the kiln. So tapasya is it's heat. It's really tough, rugged practice because it requires that to hold larger and larger states of mind, which comes with larger and larger energy. I mean, for example, here's another example. People that like hunt down Kundalini, like I'm going to go do Kundalini because I want a Kundalini awakening. Okay, sure, go for it. But if somehow, by some means, you do awaken that sucker and it actually opens and your vessel isn't prepared, that is the recipe for psychosis. It's like taking a toaster and plugging it into the mains. The toaster will just explode. uh, yeah. So then we have this. We see the same pattern of this holism pattern in our society and civilization in our external world, which is tribe, village, town, city, state, country. All valuable, all included. One's a whole, and then we've got a part of the next higher whole. So that is a start of the look of the interior space. And if we take our example before of how limited some of our worldviews are, if we take something like depression, guys. Now let's say a doctor finds there is there literally is a chemical imbalance. Let's go with that example. This is where it gets even more interesting. If there technically is a chemical imbalance, there will also be a disruption in the felt experience. There will also be a negative belief pattern in the bottom left. There will also be an attraction to less healthy places. So a depressed person has an unhygienic home, right? So whatever the phenomena is of depression, it will show up in all of them anyway. There will be a disruption of energy. There will be a negative belief. There will be an untidy home, and there will be a chemical imbalance. If you have a trauma, like let's say you have a car accident and you break your hip, which is in the top right, you've broken your hip. There will be a disruption in the felt experience. There will be an impression in the felt experience, and there'll be a reaction to getting back in the car. There'll be a whole set of beliefs around travel and car and trauma. And there will be, again, a negative reaction to that environment. Does that make sense?
Everyone jump in the chat panel right now. I think, unless it's just me, what we've just gotten to then is anybody appreciating what we've been saying in all of our classes, which is complexity is the answer, not simplicity. Has anyone just understood that? Because with those examples, anyone else go, oh, geez, a fucking course, this would be my reality at the moment.
Of course, it's in all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, interconnection, fuck yes. Yeah, very complex. Isn't that interesting? Go full circle right then. Well, this is really hard to understand. This is so complex. Oh my God, I'm so complex. the relief because of the truth to it.
Yeah, so
yeah,
we're gonna go through and break these down individually and go through. And that's what we do in GOI. In the classes, we strip this thing apart and actually give you practices and principles and understandings of the quadratic way of the interior. And I love talking about religion in all this, because you have religion is stuck in the bottom left. It's stuck in the bottom left. But religion is the prime container for the true spiritual heart that wants to go home, that really wants to experience itself, needs the religious container, needs the religious understanding and religious structure to hold it. So there's another really weird phenomena happening, guys. Check this one out. This is mind-blowing. The plant medicine thing right now, that's the top left. It's the top left. It's a combination of right, it's the top right, but mainly it's the top left. People are diving into plant medicine, and they are dissolving boundaries faster than ever before. People have an ego death left, right, and center, and people are connecting with spirits and their past lives and da-da-da-da-da. It's great. It's great stuff. Because it's plant medicine mediated, no one hears about how many people are losing the plot, right? Check out this for a phenomena. The people who go really hard at plant medicine, they hit the edge because they are overdoing it compared to their container. And then they have to reach for religion. They have to. Because the religious understanding is the only vessel that can kind of make sense of plant medicine experiences. And in reverse, people that have only done the religious beliefs, religious, belief, now I'm stuck. And they go, what's this plant thing going on? What's happening with this plant stuff? So mysticism, non-self spaces, mysticism, different to spirituality. Mysticism is the true heart of religion, not spirituality. When you actually enter no self spaces and stabilize no self spaces, you need to live a religious life. You can't do it without it. And I mean practicing religion, not learning about it, practicing it every day. Otherwise, the no self spaces sinks back into a rational mind and stabilizes there. Is that too much? Is that too much for people? Are we good?
Jump in, just a word, comment, anything, let us know, pulse check.
The word religion always freaks people out. I hope we're okay.
We always hear a couple of ding dings, which is people leaving. Yeah, awesome, Lisa. Yeah, thanks, Craig. We'll dive into it deeper and deeper, mate.
I'm done. Getting sweaty.
Yeah, anybody enjoying what you're learning to the extent of I want more, or I'd like to know how to apply this, or I'd like to expand the territory of a quadrant that I'm currently have a blind spot in. Thanks, Tanya. Thanks, Tonya. Beautiful. Awesome. Cool. So a lot of you weren't on our GOI Open Day, I don't think. Jump in if you missed the GOI Open Day. I'm going to try to share my screen with you. Just a real quick one, about 2 minutes here. Let me know if you can see the screen. Everyone see the screen? Great. What we just shared with you was the foundation of GOI full spectrum development. Now, Monday, the 29th of July, which is in 2.5 weeks, we have already 32, 33 OG FSD, which is full spectrum development members, and we're starting the journey home. The journey home referring to what you just saw on the screen that Nat took you through. The complete and complex approach to navigating the inner terrain that you are currently dealing with. Fuck, I did. Nat, I did well there, didn't I?
You did good. There's a lot. There's a mouthful.
I'm getting it. And the way that we're taking you home, all the way home, we're all on the journey, is through our 5 teaching wheels: assert, evoke, restore, arrive, align. I'm going to move through this pretty quickly because if you want more information, you can get it from me later. Which is healthy ego development class, a spiritual impulse class, a healing and regeneration class, which is every second Thursday with Nat. This is a 20-minute guided self-inquiry session where you put down the tools, you don't learn anything, and you practice.
Get into it. We get in the top left. We get in the top left.
Get into it and practice it for 20 minutes live with Nat via audio. Arrive, which is our cultural detoxing class, which you're now well aware of. You've got to be aware of that. And Align, which is emotional maturity and alignment. One of my fortes, something I spent 8 years doing with my clients. Now, the way that works is we run these 5 teaching wheels, otherwise known as 5 classes, over a crystal clear 2-week rotating class timetable that you can see on the screen. And we recommend, if you want to get the most out of the full spectrum development membership, to be able to commit to 2 classes per week. We have not set the program up to be a 3 classes every week program due to timing, and we set it up in a way that people can access 1 to 2 classes to get the most out of the program. Jump in the chat panel if that looks pretty cool. Any questions, comment them through. Now, that's all Nat and I wanted to share with you. And I've simply posted a link in the chat panel. And if you are in any way, shape, or form saying, what's happening on the 29th? What does the journey home look like? What is the full spectrum development membership? I kind of want to rock out with you guys and get access to some classes. What would that look like? Please just click that link, book in a time with me for sometime this week, if not early first thing next week if you can. We'll jump on a 30-minute call. I'll get to know your background a little bit. You can ask me some questions. I'll let you know exactly how the full spectrum development membership works and if it's right for you, of course. And if it is, I'll make sure you're set up for success, give you some pre-learning content on what you can do for the next 14 days to get ready for the 29th. Now, that was a bit resonating, making sense, landing. By the way, congratulations. I can see like 12 to 15 of you on the call who have already jumped on board and you're already members.
Yeah, race, mate, you got a target on your back, big man. I'm coming at you.
Craig, if it sounds up your alley, loved your comments coming through. Would love to speak to you personally, man. Only if it sounds like it's for you. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, Renata. Love your engagement as always. And if someone could just let me know if that link did come through, because TC and Nat, tech isn't our forte. That's where we completely rely on you guys to tell us when our audio is shit. But does that link work? Thanks, Anita. Of course, if you're already in the membership, I've probably already spoken to you, so don't click that link. But please click that link, book in, complimentary 30 minutes with me. At the end of the day, if a full spectrum development membership isn't for you, we can have a chat about the 4 quadrants. I'll give you some insights into where you're probably at and where you can probably lean into moving forward on your own personal journey. Thanks, Heather. Appreciate it. Yeah, you're welcome, Renata. Thank you.
That's fun, guys. I'm calling it a day. That's me done for the day. That's a lot.
Before we leave, jump into the chat panel. Give us a little bit of feedback from today's class.
Thanks, team. You're great.
Different class today. Didn't know we were bringing slides.
I
That
brought
surprised
slides.
me.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah, wasn't it fucking necessary?
Necessary.
Whose brain is navigating those 4 quadrants, just picturing them and the
They're all
subtle
gorgeous.
structure?
Like they're all awesome. They all provide so much. Like that. Yeah, they're all great.
Very important. Very important to be aware. It's not a bag out on any quadrant. Also important.
You can.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa.
Why? Like when you understand this and see this, the go-to virtue of all human beings is acceptance. Is that not the go-to virtue now after seeing that? It's not like, oh, let's use this to be better. It's like, oh, wow, you fit. Everyone fits everywhere.
Yeah, great to hear, Craig. And let's wrap it up with that. Who felt a radical acceptance towards the very end of the call with the examples? Anyone?
Like, yeah,
Anyone feel that?
Yeah.
Team, you practice these 5 teaching wheels. No workbooks. No 7 steps to a confident me. None of that shit. No rah rah. Let's use our emotions to manifest and get us into a state that doesn't exist to help me deal with something for 2 hours. Just true in the moment, full spectrum development, awareness, integration, and application. That's it
Oh,
at the best.
TC.
You won't need another program. You won't be going off to do your annual
Yeah.
retreat that
Yeah, you
gets
won't
you
need to,
away
guys.
from.
You won't need to. You won't need to.
There
Trust
won't be
me.
anything else necessary.
It's way sexier to do it in real life. Like it's when you apply this, it's so much nicer.
Yeah, you're welcome, Kim. Loving the comments coming through. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, awesome. Lisa, you're coming in to the full spectrum development.
Tommy,
Sorry.
take my money. You got
We'll
me.
see.
You got me.
Oh, that's funny.
You guys.
You pulled it all together really well. Yeah, I love that. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, thanks, team. All right, cool. I can't see any questions coming through. Everyone's just sharing the love. Big love to your team. Looking forward to chatting to some of you on the phone. And for those of you, we'll see you in 2 weweeks. Matt and I are going to go off right now and have a little feel into which area of development we're going to be sharing with you. If we'll always take your comments and suggestions. Now you're aware of the 4 quadrants of human flourishing and the backbone of GOI full spectrum development. Shoot us an email. I love this class. I want to know more about that. We'll pigeon mark it.
I'll be in the jungle of Cambodia for 2 weeks, so I'm out, guys. I'll be back when I literally.
Now to be tuning in from the jungle.
From the jungle.
Hanging from a tree. I shouldn't say this, but I have to. No, have a radical day, guys. Yeah, thank you. All right, team. Big love. Have an incredible day.
Bye.